Hello everyone and welcome to yet another Against the Storm update preview live stream. Hello, my name is Łukasz and I'm a community manager at Eremite Games, and I'm here with Aaron, who's our producer and who also makes 3D models for the game. Hello everyone.
Hello.
Okay, so please let us know in the chat if you can hear us, if everything's fine with the sound. We'll greatly appreciate any feedback, and if anything goes south during the live stream, don't hesitate to let us know. Also, please type any questions you have during live stream. Today we are going to have more Q&A than usual. Thanks FLFax for confirming, and Slacking Sleeper also, thank you. Huge thanks for everyone who followed us recently. See Kelsey Go, not Tezek, but Jeff, Mickey Cool 6, and everyone. We greatly appreciate it. Okay, so today we are going to play the Training Expeditions update. So we are going to give you a little preview of what's coming tomorrow. Yeah, Petrozari, and you also, huge thanks. Okay, Godscook, 10 out of 10 audio, awesome. Yes, you can see someone behind Aaron, that's Damian. He's our graphic designer. Yeah, he makes all the he makes the UI look great and all the monsters look cool. Okay, so Aaron,
yeah,
let's go. Let's do this.
Let's play. Okay, so first things first. This is one of the features that was probably one of the most requested features, is a custom game mode. And Against the Storm is a game that isn't really like other normal city builders where you can just build. I mean, you can play a chill game on the lowest difficulty, but sometimes it's hard to just like tailor the game to your liking. So we decided to add a custom mode as a late Christmas gift for you guys, but it's not the typical custom mode in most games. It's not like selected in menus or something. It's an upgrade. So you have to play the game a bit to unlock it. Training Expeditions is right here. And as you can see, there is a new tab here called Training Expeditions. Now, this is a busy UI. There's a lot of things going on here because you can modify a lot of things. You don't have like this complete freedom of choosing what you want because the game is structured in a way that we can't just allow you to edit everything, but you can do a lot of things here. So, for example, you can finally have the seed of your map and you can share it around. If you like a glade layout or something, you can send it to other players and they can play on the same map, like the same glade layout and events and so on. But the standard stuff is all here, like difficulty selection, biomes, races, reputation, impatience, and so on. Which towns are your neighbors?
Quick question. What are the reputation options? That's my question. But if if our viewers have our own questions, please let us know.
Yeah, so the ideal world would be you could set your own like numbers here, but there's no ideal world and we have to limit you somehow. So reputation, we have for now 4 options. You can play a quick game, which is 10, default game, which is 14, prestige game, which is 18, and a 30 reputation point marathon, which is, I think, a lot. It's a bit crazy. The same goes with impatience. You can play with a furious queen, with only 2 points, with an angry queen, with only 4 points, with a slightly irritated queen, 10 points, and forgiving, 14, which is the standard amount, and 30, which is distracted. So you have a lot more to work with here.
Quick question, Aaron, from Slacking Sleeper. The question is it possible to see your seed in or after the game?
Right now, no, there is no way to see it. I'm not sure if there is a way to see it in the experimental branch with a console command. We could try adding something like this to normal games at some point in the UI if you want. To basically like, yeah, that would be a good idea to have the seed from your normal game carry over to a custom game and play a similar game but with other modifiers, for example, in the same glade layout. Why not?
Yeah, so right now you need to copy your seed number if you want to share it later on Discord or somewhere else.
And you can randomize it if you want. You can type in everything you desire here. You can experiment around. The seed mostly influences like the glade layout, the events, most thing with the map, tied to the map actually, because other things are like you can modify them in this UI. So, but going back to the impatience and the reputation stuff, you can also set the impatience rate, which is like how much impatience is generated passively by just playing. And the normal rate is 26% per minute, which is like the going rate for the impatience, but you can set it to 0% if you want a game where only like dying villagers increase their impatience, but not the queen by herself. There are no more options here. That's a balance issue. We probably could add more, but for now, let's stick to 2. And yeah, so I know. Should I expand on every UI option here? Just like because it's a lot of talking?
We can do this because this is the main highlight of the update. Yeah. So there will be no more like big features in this update aside from the training expeditions. Yeah. So we can dive in a little deeper than we usually do.
Yeah, and there is a question about templates. So exactly. That's a good question. So you can set up your own like game here. And then you can save it in the... Oh, you can't save it because the button doesn't work. Nice.
Yeah, because right now we're playing on a build from today's morning or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, the button doesn't... But trust me, you can save your templates. You can't share your templates, but you can save them locally on your save files and then load them and see like play the same game you played before you started the game. So for example, you can like set up some options here, select your resources, click embark, play the game, but before that just save it, and for example like see if the next game you play on the same seed with the same options you do better or not. It's a way to like challenge yourself a bit. So yeah, so let's go into the UI a bit deeper. Standard stuff, you can select species. Unfortunately, we can't select all 4 because that's one of the core principles of the game. We play with 3 species, and that has a lot of implications on the UI, on the balance. So and building, drafting, and so on. So we leave it at 4. In difficulty, you only have 4 selections because all the modifiers from prestige are here. So you can just create your own prestige version of the game with a lot of modifiers and pioneer difficulty. There are 2 things here that difficulty mostly changes. It's, for example, how hard the events are, or what orders you have and how many orders you have. So keep that in mind when selecting this. You can always like see a bit more here. Keep that in mind when selecting this, so that you can tailor the difficulty to your liking. Yeah, let's go further. You can also select your own forest mysteries, and you can go nuts with this. We only allow 5, which is the maximum, but you can choose you want 5 positive or 5 negative, whatever you want. You can also like decide to not make them random and simply select from all the forest mysteries that are in the game. Select which one you'd like to see. Let's say I want those 4, and that's going to be your game right now. You can also like take back to random and play with no positives and so on. And the same goes with Blight Rot. You can decide to not play with it or play with it. And the normal footprints we have in the game right now are up to, I think, 250 or 200%. You can go nuts. You can go 400% and 300% corruption, which is crazy.
Aaron, so does it mean that seed speedruns can become a thing right now?
Yeah, you could basically try to do a quick game with like the most furious queen you can have, with some weird setup of forest mysteries, and you can just share the seed, share the options with other players, and try to speedrun a map and compete with that and see your score at the end, for example. Or
Speedruns, right?
speedruns. Yes. And there's also like things you can do here you normally couldn't. Like you can make a prestige game on Viceroy here, select all prestige modifier. That's not a prestige modifier. Prestige modifiers, that's a difficulty modifier. But play without Light Rod active.
I think one of the things that will be different if you really want to speedrun it will be the other cities, because I think the game takes cities, settlements that you previously built into account. So this is one thing that can spoil your speedrunning, seed running, as Petrozari called it, competition. But other than that, you can all play with the same conditions, compare your scores, compare your tactics. And
this is, I think, the only thing that is reliant on your world map right now. You can't just add like random cities here. These are the cities you have on your world map right now, and it only takes those cities that you have on your world map. So, if you want a ideal run with amazing cities, then you have to play at least 1 or 2 games to simply see, and you generate more like faction cities and so on, because they are not made out of thin air. They have to be on the world map. So going further with that, let's talk about the other options here. You could, for example, choose whatever resources you want in the game, and they are not only the embark bonuses and the caravan goods, but everything. You can start with 999 ancient tablets and go nuts with the effects on Scarlet Orchard, the upgrades from the archaeological building, or you could start with ale and whatever you want here. That goes both ways. You can make a super easy game or a super difficult game, whatever you want. And you can also like choose the embark bonuses here, which are the standard embark bonuses that are unlocked in your games. So that's one thing. And lastly, these are the modifiers. Not all modifiers are here. That's one thing that you have to keep in mind. There are some modifiers like wine shortage for daily, which is a modifier that doesn't really work well if you don't have beavers, like this one. Why is it here? It should be disabled. Okay, but it won't work without beavers, because wine is a beaver specific item for their needs, used mostly for their needs. And without beavers, the game doesn't generate that many buildings that are, for this need or that produce it. Some are specific to beavers, and there are just less blueprints because they're not needed in a normal game. But with that modifier here, that doesn't make sense. Other than that, there are some contradictory modifiers in your game. So let's take fertile grounds, for example, and let's take barren lands. Like, you can play with both of them, and we won't stop you. But the game just won't really do anything specific here. It just will not spawn fertile grounds, because that increases the fertile soil spawn rates by a percentage, and that just decreases it by 100%. So the net, the sum of it is like minus 40%. So no fertile soil will still not spawn. The same goes with, let's say, dangerous and forbidden lands. This causes all the glades to be dangerous. This causes all the glades to be forbidden. And we didn't want to limit you here. We didn't want to like add some weird system that doesn't allow this and doesn't allow that, because that would like change the stuff that can be here and this in biomes and so on. So the game simply takes one of those, it applies it. Simply, it's to your discretion. It's viewer discretion. It's to your how you set it up. That's how it's gonna be. If you want to try to break the game with those two, the game will simply disable one and enable the next, and that's gonna be a normal game, like with one of those modifiers.
Yeah. In the meantime, I and Aaron surely want to thank Pereru for following us, and chat for all your questions and all the kind words. Miss GG saying big fan of this game. we are grateful.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for giving it a try. And so if anyone's watching and haven't played Against the Storm yet, there's a demo available on each platform, so you can try it anytime. There was one interesting question from Sir Hob. Do achievements work in this mode?
No, so this mode is limited. It doesn't give you experience, it doesn't give you resources, and it does not allow you to complete achievements. That would make achievements a bit trivial, because you can set up whatever you want. You can, like, there are achievements to have certain buildings and certain resources. You could just add them here, and that would, defeat the purpose of achieving something that would be just setting up a custom game. And the reason for why there are no rewards here is also, it's tempting to add rewards here, to like, the more hard you make the game, the more difficult you make it, the weirder the seed, the more you get rewards. But it's something that I think is impossible to balance fairly, because there is gonna be at least a few cases where somebody just makes a super easy game, makes a way to farm it very quickly and gather a lot of meta resources, and that defeats the purpose of the meta progression. This is simply a mode for you to experiment with the game, to push yourselves if you want to really like try to play the hardest version of Against the Storm there is, like with the most amount of reputation, the least amount of impatience, with all modifiers, all negative, and so on. Or this is also a way for you to play a very chill game of Against the Storm. If you want to play it slightly like a normal city builder, you can just turn off the impatience generation, turn off to the max here, only positive modifiers, only positive vibes today, no blight rot. Just simply play the game like you would play a traditional city builder, just so you can chill out, and that's fine. So that's the reason why we don't give too many rewards, any rewards here, because this is more of experimental, more of a custom stuff, not really something for not really something that should tie into the core loop and the core progression systems in the game, I think. Yeah. So any other questions there, maybe?
Yeah, there are a couple suggestions, I'd say.
Oh, okay.
So maybe let's start with one question. What about blueprints distribution during a game? Let's say you take 30 reputation. How about when do you get blueprints?
The blueprints are distributed similarly to the normal game, in the quick game, in the default game, in the prestige game. Those blueprint distributions are very similar. Like the same distribution for 18 is like in prestige games. In default games, there's the same distribution here. For 10 points for a quick game, it's very similar to the 14. We changed it for the marathon. The spaces are a bit wider, and the end of the bar is a bit more scarce. There are not so many blueprints. The total sum of blueprints is I think the same, but just the distribution is a bit more spaced out for you to play it a bit longer game and get the rewards a bit with bigger gaps between them. But there is no option to like play with like every point gives you every blueprint. That's not an option in here right now.
Yeah. So there were a couple of suggestions.
Yeah.
I added all of them to our list because as with every other feature we add to the game, there's always room for improvement. So for example, some interesting suggestions that I have here. God's Cook suggests maybe we could add default nearby towns so that you don't need to build settlements before you get more options here. This is I added it to our list. There was a couple more. I'm anyway, the thing is I'm writing them all down, and if you don't see something in the game right now, there is a chance we'll add it in the future. We'll monitor feedback after tomorrow's update. As always, we'll check all the forums on Steam, Discord, Reddit, everywhere where you can reach out to us. And also we have this in-game reporter, which we also check daily. So you can be sure.
Like you have to keep in mind that every feature we introduce to the game, that's not the final state. You know, we always iterate on it. Maybe in this update something will not like be changed because there's little time left, but for the next update or for the next after that, we have a long document with feedback, which we cleaned up after the holidays a bit. We have more time for that. And there's a lot of cool suggestions, and we're working slowly through them with every sprint, every update.
Yeah, it's like how many? 2,500 different suggestions already?
Even more. Plus, there are some that are like not really, that are duplicated, so it's even more. Yeah, but yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, so I'm just setting up a perfect game with 9999999 tools, so I never have to deal with anything.
Okay, It's Canada asks if there will be more tracks to the soundtrack.
Yes.
This is a question we get a lot of times, and since November, Mikołaj, who produced the entire soundtrack, is also working with us full time. So since then, he's working on adding new tracks to the game, new sounds. And I can share that in tomorrow's update there will be one new track for the Marshlands, which will play in clearance. And also we are adding new voice lines to traders. So when they greet you, when they say goodbye, and when you make a deal, they will say some interesting things. And today we were recording Zorg. Damian, our graphic designer sitting behind Aaron, he's the voice of Zorg.
Yes.
And in my opinion, it's awesome. It's the way you imagine Zorg. It's in the voice.
Yeah. We're slowly adding new stuff, like sound-wise, and there's some new music for the Citadel coming. You can probably hear like the background music here in this one window, like the same track looping fifth time as we're speaking here. So there's gonna be new Citadel music. We have in the last update we added 2 new tracks, I think, or 3.
There were 3 tracks in the last update.
Yeah, and in this update we're adding 1 track, so we're slowly increasing the number of music in the game. The music is also in Against the Storm. It's based on biomes, so sometimes if you play a lot of one biome, you hear a lot of the same music. But we're trying to differentiate the biomes not only by how they look, but also by how they sound. So if you feel samey in the music department, you can just switch to another biome and you hear some new music there. The new track coming in this update is going to be in Marshlands, and in the clearance season.
FLFax is saying, sorry, Dami, I'm still murdering Zorg. We'll add new voice lines for traders dying. That would be fun.
That's actually a good idea. We didn't implement it with this update. We only have the greetings and the goodbyes and when you trade with them. But maybe you should add something when you kill them.
There's one super cool question from Niral. Sorry for interrupting, but yeah, this is more Q&A today. Yeah. And I think you'll like it. How many different species of creatures will we eventually be able to have? I'm laughing because on one of the previous live streams, if you are watching, Aaron went wild and said something about crazy number of species. Yeah. But the truth is we don't really know ourselves here internally. For sure, there will be one more during early access, and I think we can disclose it that in one of the upcoming updates, you will be able to vote for one of the 2 species that we'll offer you. So the community will be able to choose on which species we will be working next.
Right now, on the roadmap, you can see the 1 species we promised you, and it's going to be pretty soon, it's going to be the vote for it. We're still thinking about it internally, because before we give something to the vote to you guys, we will be sure that the design goals of the species are all set. There's some stuff in the game where new species would fill in a gap that's in the balance of the game and the mechanics. So we still want to think about it a bit more and give you an an in-game vote for that. In the beginning of early access, like a year ago when you added Harpies, there was also a vote in the game on the main menu. So pretty soon you're going to be able to, not in this update, but probably the next one or the next after that, you're going to be able to vote for a new species in the in-game menu.
Aaron, before you proceed, can you also add unlimited beer?
Unlimited
that's one
beer.
of the requests from
Of course, the UI will break, but I will do that. Where's beer? Who was there? Just
no unlimited beer. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, there is unlimited beer. Okay, let's do it. But that's the max I can set. Sorry. Oh, that's a cool bug. If I set it to 9999, I can't go higher. Cool. If I go to 999, can I go?
Yeah, we're debugging live.
Yeah, so that's how finding bugs works exactly. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I can start a chill game, which we're not gonna finish because it's gonna be a marathon without impatience, with random, only positive modifiers and only positive vibes today. Maybe one more order choice, maybe more fertile soil. That's not gonna. Levitating monument, why not? Move everything. Cool. Okay, so that's a game with some embark bonuses. Let's take. That's gonna be cheating if I take this. Let's take the farm. Let's take beer, even more beer than we can. Let's take all the camps. Let's go.
Yeah, there's a question about blight rot, but I'm not sure if we can really answer it because blight rot is something that Telhurin, so Michał, our programmer, he's like the idea guy behind the new blight rot revamp. So I think only he knows what exactly will happen in the near future.
Yeah,
but please feel free to join us on Discord. I will quickly share link in the chat. Is it working? It's not working. But anyway, we're there almost every day, and you can ask us any questions there. Yep. So
I'm just
we'll
going
be
down with the
you
graphic
there.
settings because we're playing an engine today, so this build isn't really optimized. Yeah, we can answer some questions about the blight rot, but as Luke said, the main owner of this topic is Michał. It's gonna happen really soon. The experimental branch is really promising, so to speak. The changes we introduced there's a lot of feedback to go through, and we will probably give you some more information and teasing in the next couple of days.
In a second, like a second ago, you could see a very strange blue effect happening on the screen. That's because we are playing in the Unity engine, and sometimes it happens. So we can expect some things going wrong.
Yeah. The engine. I mean, this is how we play the game when we're developing it. So there's some glitches, but they don't appear in the normal game sometimes because Unity shenanigans. You can see how the UI looks weirdly when you have 30 points, and the blueprint distribution is, as you can see, a bit different. There's 2 here at the start, then there's the gap, 2, gap, 2, and so on. It's also because there's going to be the altar activations if you choose the Forsaken altar. So that's one important thing to keep in mind here. But yeah, it's the spaces here are also a bit wider, so the game slows down a bit with blueprints at the end. No, I didn't want you here. Yeah, I'm just gonna play a chill game. Open some glades. Nothing happens here. The queen is totally relaxed. Nothing is really bothering us. It's the most chill we've gonna ever seen against the storm. Oh, I chose 2 buildings for planks. Great, just great. That's the game is too chill now. I made a mistake because I'm underestimating the game.
No problem. So maybe in the meantime, I'll look into our changelog document.
Yeah, let's
share some additional things that are going to change. So one thing that I guess many people on Steam would like to hear, and anywhere else, is that overheating and vassal tax forest mysteries were temporarily removed from the game.
Yeah, those two effects are, as you could probably tell from playing the game, a bit troublesome because on one side their balance is difficult. They do a lot of. They can be really devastating to some players, and the weirdest thing about them is that they don't really give you the information you need to be able to deal with them, basically. So there is no window, there is no UI that tells you, hey, you need to pay this and this much amber or something to avoid this weird, nasty effect. So we want to take our time, think about these effects a bit more, and maybe see if we can add some UI to it, some more information, rebalance it a bit, or if we simply need to remove them and do something else instead of them. So for this update, there's just going to be gone from the roster. They won't be drawn on your maps. Yeah, but in the future, we'll see about them. We have to take a bit of time and think about them.
All right.
I'm sorry, I'm coughing because.
And another thing, I'm not sure if I should really say it's going to happen because it's not like 100% on our end, is that we are likely to also add Steam trading cards to the game tomorrow. So you will be able to earn Steam trading cards by playing the game. Then you can either trade them with other players, sell them, or craft badges and get Against the Storm emoticons on Steam and some cool profile backgrounds. So yeah, I'm only telling you this because this is like, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. We hope it will happen tomorrow. Yeah.
Somebody asks about what about wood and clothes you have to pay for your settlers. For now, those effects stay in the game because they're a bit easier to grasp than the others, but they're also on the radar. Like we have to think about them a bit more and see if there is something we can do about this weird place we're at with like paying each storm. We had some ideas in the background. This isn't like a confirmation for any new feature, but we had an idea for like a payment system in the game for like a payment window even, so that it would sum up all the things you need to pay and you could choose to pay it or not. But that's a lot of work on the UI side, on systems, on testing. So for now we want to take a bit more time and see if you come up with anything else, and then take care of all those effects. There's also like this payment for each glade, for example, on Prestige, which is a bit more forgiving because you simply choose to open a glade or not. That's an action you take deliberately instead of just like being surprised that the storm starts. So for now it also stays in the game, but we'll see how about that in the future.
So a question, do you guys consider implementing any sort of customization to your game? For example, changing color of clothes of villagers, etc. So
yeah.
It's not like on our roadmap, but if that's what the community would like, please create such a feature request on our feature request board on Upvote. Let me share it with you here in the chat. It's a very cool feature. I really recommend using it, checking what's happening on the board from time to time. In short, this is a board where you can post a feature request and vote on other players' ideas. So the ideas that you care about, you can comment on them to give us some additional context. And we then try to implement or either as many of them or like at least the highly voted ones to the game. Of course, not every suggested feature is the same when it comes to its scale. So it's way easier for us to implement some UX improvements rather than quickly adding big features like fishing or water content, which are probably one of the top ones, and also the production. The production, the more details in the production and consumption, some kind of window.
Yeah, so I think the cosmetic idea is already in our document, but it's not on Upvotes. Nobody suggested it there. It's a bigger system, so right now we were gonna see about that if it's requested a bit more from players. But as Luke said, feel free to post it on the Upvote side, and people vote there and give their opinions on it, and we'll see about implementing such a feature.
Okay, so I mentioned that we are adding that it's easier for us to add some minor UX improvement. And speaking of which, two of the ones that are coming tomorrow, I know that I've seen these suggestions a few times at least. So we are increasing the speed at which the camera moves to selected buildings and glide events.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's already in this build.
Yeah, it is. We can. So a lot of people said that the speed at which, if you have like this woodcutter's camp selected and then you click the arrow, it goes slowly to this one and then it eases in and it's like, oh, here's the camp. But I was a bit too slow, so we decided to play around with it, and now it's a bit faster. It's not super fast, but it's definitely faster than it was. If they're even more far apart, the speed between them is gonna be really, really fast. But the easing is the thing that takes most time. So it's almost twice as fast as it was. But that should still give you the information where the building is, because you can see the movement, and not be as frustrating when you wait for the camera to stop and move there. So yeah, I hope you'll like it, and if it's still too slow, then we'll see if you can change it even further.
Yeah, and also camp icons in resource node panels are now ordered from small to advanced.
Yeah, that was the small change here with the camps, that in case of most camps there was ordered to the right way. Wait, that's from the most advanced right now to the least advanced. But it was inconsistent in most nodes, and we changed that around, and now it should be consistent to almost. It's a small change, but it's irritating to have a different location for the camps.
Okay, other than that, there are dozens of various bug fixes. The Steam cards that I mentioned, new truck, new trader voice lines, some minor UX improvements like better wording in some places, changing the icons, updating encyclopedia entries. If you don't use encyclopedia or don't know it exists, I really recommend it. Yeah, it's really useful, especially this tab with useful shortcuts. We still haven't found a way to show some of the shortcuts that are available, but you can find many of them there.
Yeah, there's a lot of shortcuts in the game, and the encyclopedia isn't really the best way to list them all. We were thinking about a way to give you contextual information about shortcuts, about overlays and so on, but that's gonna take a while to implement properly and to design properly.
Also, one cool thing, there's an official Against the Storm wiki. It was set up by our publisher, Hooded Horse, and we are getting a lot of help from the community who updates it with new entries. And if you'd like to contribute to the wiki or just use it, I shared the link in the chat. But if you'd like to contribute, please join us on Discord. There's a wiki channel, and just let us know that you'd like to also add new pages to the wiki, and we'll give you all the permissions, so you will be able to edit it.
I wanted to preview the sound for Zorg, but I think this is the one that's lacking in this older build.
Yeah, because this is
Yeah,
we
this is the
recorded
last-
it earlier today, and it's didn't end up in the build. But maybe in the next trailer we'll have some sound.
Maybe we should, attack Zorg. Yeah, so there's also, as Luke said, a lot of bug fixes and a lot of changes to localization. There were a lot of like issues you pointed out and typos and so on. So we took a bit more time with that and selected some things in different languages to fix. So yeah, more than usual. And thank you very much for reporting at that, because I don't know French, I don't know Japanese, I don't know Russian, so I don't know any language other than Polish, English, and German. So it's very useful for you if you play the game in other languages to like point out some places where some inconsistencies are, or in some some names aren't correct or so on, or some typos are there, so we can forward this to the translators and fix it for you.
Yeah, so UltraFX is suggesting one thing for the encyclopedia, but I think we already have a similar feature in the game. So it would be good to be able to click an ingredient in a recipe in the building tab to get a list of buildings that have that ingredient as a product. So I think it's you can do this in the recipes panel.
But you can only do this with the output. You can't do this with this. So that's one thing. But if you click this one, it'll open up the recipes panel, and here, that's a small graphical glitch. Here you can see where this is produced.
But still, you can here in this window you can search for a specific product or ingredient, because you can change it. Maybe Aaron, you can show it, because sometimes people forget that you can also change from ingredient to product. And also, if you want, there is a show all checkbox. It will show not only the buildings that you currently have, but also all the buildings available in the game. So it should help you make more informed decisions when selecting new blueprints, etc.
Yeah, I know what you mean by like it would be cool to click anything, any resource here, for example, or here. It's available. You can see every, like, if you want to see what you can make with fabric, you can see it here by choosing ingredient and show all. So all the buildings are listed. But yeah, I get that's a bit more steps to take than just simply clicking on an icon. So I think this feedback is also someone send it, more than one person send it through the in-game feedback tool. So I know about it. There's one thing to note also, like if you send feedback through this F11 tool, don't worry if we don't answer, because we have no way of answering you through the in-game. We don't collect data on sending back messages to you and so on. But we read all of it, and we have a lot of it, and I put it into the feedback sheet we have internally. So it's all noted. You read everything.
Yeah. Hey Wally, thanks for joining us here today again. Thanks everyone who was watching our previous live streams as well. It's a pleasure to see you again. Thanks Toby Said Go for the follow. Also Focused, thank you. Niral, I believe we already thanked you, but why not do it twice? So yeah, today we have a more Q&A type of stream, because the main highlight, Fian Gray, thank you. We have a more Q&A type of live stream, because the main highlight, the main feature of tomorrow's update is the custom game mode, also known as the training expedition. And the majority of things are in the UI, so we already covered that. There's no way we can go back. In this city building mode, not much really changes. But now you can create your own custom games. First, you need to unlock It's Obsidian Archive, right?
Yeah,
On
it's
level
Obsidian Archive level 10.
Yep.
It's the one above timed orders. So you'll get them naturally through gameplay. The Obsidian Archive line is, I think, the most with the most features in it. So it's gonna be pretty easy to get there. The reason why, as I said earlier, that we lock it behind like an unlockable upgrade in the Citadel is because we didn't want to invalidate the game's core gameplay loop and progression too early. We didn't want to give players who just started the game, bought it like on Steam and played it the first hour, and they discovered this custom mode. We didn't want to give them like every tool we have, every toy we have in the box, because as custom mode is really cool for someone who understands the game, it can bleed to like boredom and burnout for someone, frustration for someone who doesn't know the game. So for now it's gonna stay there. We'll see about how it plays and decide if that's the right way.
There's no direct link to the wiki in the game. It's on Discord, but it's not in the game. Maybe it's a good idea to add it. Why not? I mean, probably there is. Maybe there is a reason why not, but right now I can't think of one. It would also mean additional work for Damian here. So yeah, win-win situation.
Win-win situation, yes.
Except Damian.
The more work for Damian, the better. It's a meme going around in the office. Like, if somebody gets more work, then everyone is happy. Like, it's the main motivator to add more tasks on this. No, don't worry. It's just a joke.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting. Ridomo has a question. Hello. Is there any info about which raw food each race eats? For example, I still can't understand if the beavers eat roots, meat, insects, or not.
There isn't really like information on the UI for that. Maybe we should add some text about it. But raw food is eaten by every species, regardless of what it is. They all prefer what they have in their needs, but if it's not available, they're gonna eat it from here. And if you turn off like everything except, for example, meat, and beavers are mostly vegetarian, they'll eat it because nothing else is there. Or if you just like give everybody roots, they'll eat this everything from here. If they don't find anything they like, if there is something they like, for example, pickled goods, they will just eat that and won't eat any raw foods. And that's not explained anywhere. And there is some things that you, for example, farm, like the grain, which isn't a food. It's even written in the tooltip. It isn't eaten raw. But yeah, there is no direct big screen about what people eat. So they just eat everything that's in the food category. And even if, for example, they don't find anything to eat, let's say they don't find anything here and anything from this category, I don't remember if we changed that. They still steal from other species their favorite food. But yeah, to answer the question, they eat every raw food there is. I'm just gonna turn it on back. So yeah, I don't have pottery right now. So this is a very like slow game. I played it just custom mode with a lot of reputation, a lot of impatient points. So this is like the experience you want to get if you're distracted like me right now and you don't bother with anything that's happening, just talking. So that's the most chill I think you can get in this game.
Okay, so Petrazari asks only one programmer. Yes, there's only one developer on the team. That's Michał Telhurin. You might know him from Discord. There are 6 of us in total working on Against the Storm right now. Yeah, and there was one question that we skipped. It was about the campaign. Are there any plans to introduce a campaign to Against the Storm? So before I'll give you an opportunity to answer, Aaron, I want to share a link to our roadmap. On the roadmap, you can see all the things that we confirmed are going to be added to the game during early access. If something's not on the roadmap, it's less likely that it will be added to the game. We generally, when we created the roadmap, we did take into account some small development gaps. So time for us to implement your feedback, but such big things like campaign need way more time and consideration. So if it's not on the roadmap, it's less likely to happen, but we are never like putting anything off the table unless it's multiplayer mode, probably. Yeah.
Campaign, it's some people suggest that, and I get that. A lot of people want like more story or an ending to the game. And when it comes to the campaign, we're more likely to do something about the ending, to like give you some last challenge or to give you a reason to like a point to strive to. But a fully fledged story campaign is something that is very hard to add at the late stage in the project, because this project is in an advanced stage, let's say. There are a lot of mechanics, a lot of things happening. There's a player base for it, and we would have to like squeeze in a story campaign, some missions into it, which would be cool. But if a game isn't designed with a story in mind, with a big campaign in mind, then more often than not, the story turns out bad. And as Michał said one time, we would much rather have no story, no campaign, than a very bad campaign. So we're a bit cautious with that. We're still thinking about it, more about an ending and more about more lore than dialogue-driven, character-driven campaign, so to say.
Yeah, but I think it's a solid proof that we do keep it in mind.
It's on our feedback sheet. It's in the I think upvote is also a suggestion about that. So it's not off the table. It's still like if players want it, if a lot of players want it, if that's the most requested thing, we will definitely think about it. As Luke said earlier, we only have one programmer. There's only 6 of us, so there's always something instead of something being built and being delivered. But we try our best to like find the features that are the most useful for the game, the most value.
Yeah, Dagona Monty, thank you for following us. Mundungu as well, and Ridomo, thank you so much. It really means a lot, and I hope to see you in the next 2 weeks for another update preview live stream. Oh no, I'm not sure if I can read that. Ikinkira, yeah, did my best. Honestly, tried. Thank you for following us. So the question is, what's the best place to give feedback? There are a couple of those. So if you're playing on Steam, probably Steam Discussions is one of the places where you can share your feedback, either probably in the feedback or suggestions channel, sub forum, or in gameplay discussions, depending on what type of feedback do you have. If you're with us on Discord, you can also use the Discord's feedback channel. If you want to request a new feature, the best place would be the Upvote feature request board. I shared the link in the chat before. And if you experience any bug, probably also Steam, Discord and stuff, because on Steam, Discord and other places we are able to get back to you, ask some additional questions. If you report things via in-game reporter, like Aaron said, we have no way of contacting you asking for additional things. So
But
sometimes it's best to use other channels as well.
I'm sorry. One thing that
Go
the
on.
in-game reporter is very good at, because you press F11, you report something, is that we get to see some logs. The last few lines of the log file are sent as well, and your I think some hardware info is also attached there. So that helps us identify some bugs. If, for example, if you run into a bug in your game right now, you can simply press F11. The second it appears, just write something about bug happened. Oh, I can't. I can't. I can't. Nice. Very good typing here. Sorry, I have another keyboard. It's not my computer. So you can send it right if it happens, and then we can see at least something in the log file. But the same thing is with Discord. You could basically report a bug on Discord and attach your log file. We can even tell you how to do it real time in the chat. But that's really useful for bugs. Sometimes some bugs are very hard to track down, and the log helps us a lot, or your saves even.
Yeah, the game works really well on Proton, by the way. That's from UltraFX. Yeah, the game is labeled playable on Steam Deck, which I believe uses Proton. So if you have Steam Deck, you can also play against the Storm there. There's a question, any chance of replays? We also thought about that, but for now, it's not on the roadmap. And I believe it's a pretty complex thing to do in a satisfactory way, like the way you'd like to be. But I'm no programmer. We only have one tailor, and we already mentioned that. And he's not here, so he cannot confirm. But we did have this conversation before, and I remember some vague things that not as simple as it might sound. Yeah. We are shortly running out of time. Today we need to finish a bit earlier. So there's a couple more minutes to ask your questions. Please let us know what are you interested in when it comes to the game's future, or what you'd like to see in the game, or what else gets you excited about the new update. Aaron, how about we go back to the training expedition screen, maybe stay there for a little while. For everyone who joined who was a bit late to the stream, so once again, show what's the main highlight, what's the main feature coming tomorrow. And let me quickly say one more thing. I'm not sure if there's been a winter sale lately on Steam, so we know that there are more players coming to the game. We've seen increasing player count. So if it's going to be your first Against the Storm update, please make sure to finish your settlement before the update goes live tomorrow. We usually release them between 2 p.m. UTC and 4 p.m. UTC. It is important because if you don't finish your settlement, the game will have to force finish it for you. You will be reimbursed with Citadel resources, but the game will have to force finish your settlement. This is because it could potentially lead to a lot of bugs and problems. So every 2 weeks, between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. UTC on Thursday, the game will update and your settlement will be forced finished. You don't need to worry about your meta progression. Your meta progression will never be erased. That's because we have 3 separate layers of saves for settlement, saves for world map cycle, and for your meta progression. Meta progression will never be erased unless something goes terribly, terribly wrong, but it never happened before, and shouldn't be worried about that. World map cycle is also unlikely to be changed or reset often. We would have to change something on the world map or something big related to the cycle. So only thing that is affected is the settlement save. And yeah, just make sure to finish it before tomorrow's update. If, for example, you are in the middle of the run during which you want to complete some deeds, etc. Yeah, and we are on the training expedition screen.
Yeah, so this is the training expedition screen again, with the options here, and we had a very chill game. So right now I'm doing the opposite. Oh wait, one thing. That's going to be.
So there's a question. Can you show where the training expedition unlocks in the Smoldering Citadel?
Yes.
It's the Obsidian
Just
archive.
gonna save this template. And
Level 10.
So yeah, this is the main line, the Obsidian archive level. Upgrades, and here is factions, daily expeditions, timed orders, and here in the somewhat 2/3 middle is the training expedition, unlocked right after the orders. It costs only food stockpiles. This upgrade before it costs, I think, machinery, if I remember correctly. But yeah, by buying this, you have access to the training expeditions. Because of that, we had to switch around some stuff. We didn't want to add too much above here, because there are still some more boring upgrades here. So because of that upgrade here, we moved to the additional, this place was the additional caravan slot, and we moved it to the Embark line, the Pioneer's Gate. No, we didn't move it here. We moved it to the First Dawn Company. No, the Vanguard Spire. Sorry. So after the first essential buildings, you get the caravan slot here. So that's a change to the upgrades. It's not going to be refunded. You're just going to have it unlocked if you have unlocked this one thing here. And because of that change, the small construction time increase, which was in this place, the 10% faster construction, was removed. Because in all honesty, it was a bit boring upgrade. Wouldn't really buy it if I had the resources only for this one upgrade. Because 10% of upgrades of construction time isn't allowed in the game. Construction times are pretty small. So with that change, I think we essentially eliminated most of the boring upgrades in the game. Most upgrades now have like one stat upgrade and one more interesting upgrade that you can get. So in the future, we're probably going to add some more finally, because we got rid of the most boring ones. And if you buy it, you get access to this tab, which is the training expedition here. And yeah, as I said before, I set up a more difficult game now, so let's do it other way around. I have to get 30 reputation with only 2 impatience points, with normal generation of impatience, with only negative forest mysteries, with the highest difficulty.
I thought it's only positive vibes today. Why so negative?
Only positive vibes. Let's do only positive vibes. I'll show you positive vibes. Wait, hailstorm, killing villagers. That's positive. Which one? Which one is also?
Just kidding. But
only fading. Only
going back to player questions. So yeah. Ridomo asks, will any new Steam achievements be added due to the update? So I think we don't want to make all the achievements hunter angry. So we won't be adding achievements every update. Probably we will add some more on the full release, but we really don't want to add new achievements to break your like perfect 100% scores every 2 weeks. Maybe only once for the full release.
Yeah, and it will happen a bit later when we're closer to the 1.0 release. We're gonna have to look at the achievements that are there and where is some space for new things. When there are more features in the game, more mechanics, a better balance, then we can like look at the achievements and the deeds and find some more interesting ones to get. But as Luke said, changing them every update would be a bit infuriating to players who achieved them earlier. And there's quite a lot of achievements to get. We have 50 of them right now. So we don't want to like push as many achievements as possible. We want to like take our time and closer to the 1.0 release, just find the most interesting ones and add a bit more there.
Yeah, CyberCrySex asks, the whole concept of fighting the Blight does not seem to be important right now. I played till difficulty level 5 and it never ever happened. What are your plans? So the plans are that we are currently testing a new iteration of Blightrot on the experimental branch. If you don't know what experimental branch is, it's the separate branch on Steam, Epic, and GOG. You can play it on all of the platforms. There are different ways to access it. I know there's an echo. We had one technical issue and I need to manually mute Aaron whenever I speak and I usually forget about it. Sorry about that. So there's an experimental branch on which we, from time to time, test new features. There's a lot of programmer art. So Telhurin Michał makes his own art for the experimental branch. So yeah, and there's no localization, but you can see our plans for the future updates very early in the process and share your feedback. So if this is something that's interesting for you, you can join the experimental branch. There's also a developer console there, so you can do various things like unlock all meta progression awards, etc. Yep. Okay. Unmuting Aaron if you want to say something.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't want to say anything. It's just that the Blightrot system is. That's why we decided to change it on the experimental branch to see if you like another iteration of it. Because as you said, right now it's a bit passive. It lacks a bit of decision making and so on. And it's easy on the lower difficulties. And the idea we had on the experimental branch was tied to like implementing Rainpunk technology into buildings, boosting their productions, and that generates Blightrot, which then can expand on other buildings in your settlement. I think is a more interesting idea. And the people who played it on the experimental branch, thank you very much for doing that. That helped a lot, and we have a lot of feedback to work through. Mostly Michał, which is good. So more work for Michał. But the people who played it, after they played it and they given their feedback, we have to go through it. But I think it's a very promising idea, and it will be implemented in the main branch pretty soon. We'll see about how much we have to implement changes to it, how well we're going to do with the graphical side of it, because as Luke said, there's programmer art in it, so we have to change the UI, change the assets there. But I think we're pretty close to like finding a good version of it and releasing it. So I just made the most difficult game possible. I mean, I could select all the prestige modifiers and everything here. Let's take the outer. I'm just going to start it just to see how it looks with just 2 impatient points and 30 reputation points. Oh, low on food, low on fuel from the start because I selected 0 everywhere. Welcome to the nightmare game with no resources. And I can't build anything because I have 0 parts. That was smart. That was really smart. Yeah, end of the game. I mean, I can't even build a woodcutter's camp.
Yeah. Custom mode. You
can do everything.
Break the game from the very first second.
Yeah.
So there's another question. Are the features on the roadmap listed in in order? No, they're not listed in order. We have to balance our development time in various ways, so the roadmap doesn't reflect that. Probably, so I think the Blight system evolution will come next after this update. So in 2 or 4 weeks. And the species which are on the roadmap higher, there will be later in the process. It will certainly take us weeks before we deliver the new species. First, we'll let you vote for one of the 2 options that we'll prepare for you, and then based on the results, we'll start developing the new species. Yeah. So yeah, it will come very, very late.
The closest 2 things that you can expect from the roadmap are looks at the Blightrot revamp and the new modifiers. Because we had the brainstorm for the world map modifiers, we collected all the info you gave us there. We still need some time to develop assets to see which ideas are the best ones for the game right now, which can be implemented and are not impossible to implement. So that's also going to happen pretty soonish, TM. But yeah, the new species is going to take some more time to develop.
I'm looking at some more questions. So probably this will be the last one right now. Oh, yeah, I see that we have something like ocean around our camp behind all glades. Will we be able to interact with it in some way? More dangers from the blight waters? That's from Fian Gray. So this is one of the top most voted features on Upvote. This is our feature request board. I shared a link before, but why not sharing it again in the chat? So yeah, a lot of people ask for some water content, for something related to water around the map or inside the map. It's not on our roadmap, so it will be hard to deliver something as big as this, but we do keep it in mind. It's hard not to keep it in mind if it's on the very top of the list.
It's an issue about also map generation, because if you were to add some water interactions, it would be also cool to change up the layout of the map here, not only on the edges. But that's a more advanced issue. So yeah, we'll have to see about that. It's not in the roadmap that looks at. So we're not really actively developing anything right now.
Okay, I think that was the last one. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Please remember to finish your settlements before tomorrow's update if you don't want to see it first finished. Thank you everyone for contributing to this update. Thank you for all your suggestions, reports. We read all of them. We keep the list of suggestions, as we mentioned before in today's stream. It's like there's already thousands of entries there, but we do our best to follow all the conversations. And even if we cannot address all of them or address them immediately, we do keep track of them. They're not lost in the internet. So if you have any feedback for us, please share your thoughts. We are not always able to reply, although we try. Hello Guardian Angels, thanks for following, and Oyoku and Abkal and maybe Blighty, thank you as well. So even if we are not able to reply to all of the discussions, we do keep track of them. So please let us know what you think, what are your impressions, especially about tomorrow's update. So when you are able to play it, please let us know what you think. Yeah, once again, thank you, and hope you'll enjoy tomorrow's update. Nor, thank you very much for following. Thank you everyone, and a happy new year, because this is the first stream in 2023. Yeah, let's see. I hope 2023 only has positive vibes for us. Positive vibes. Yeah, we're leaving you with positive vibes. Thank you very much. Bye. Thank you.